Now we know there's a closer relationship between a Hunter Biden prosecutor, his boss, and the case, the investigation that led to the plea agreement that Hunter is apparently going to take any day now. You know this guy right here. His name is David Hines, and there's a new story about his relationship to Hunter. And I want to go through some background on this. From the Daily Mail, they say that Ron Johnson had a conversation with them, saying that Hunter Biden and the prosecutor working on the case actually worked for the first son's business partner. The first son's business partner. So before we get into the story, let's break down exactly what's happening here. Hunter Biden is taking a plea deal. David Hines helped create the plea deal. He's on the case. David Hines worked for this guy, Louis Freeh. Louis Freeh used to be the director of the FBI for 8 years, 1993 to 2001. So Frey was David Hines' boss at one point. We also know that Frey gave $100,000 to the Biden family in anticipation of further business together. So we have a very interesting chain here, and we're wondering if there are conflicts of interest. Ron Johnson says absolutely there are. The story says that a prosecutor who signed off on the document that charges Hunter previously worked for one of the first son's business partners. Now, I wanted to share with you the actual information. This was the document that notified the court that they have a plea deal for Robert Hunter Biden. It says, "Dear court, please find enclosed information that Hunter is going to plead guilty to these 2 minor basic counts, and the defense is also agreeing to plead guilty to a diversion agreement, which means the firearm charge will go away. Represented by a lawyer. We want a change of plea hearing. We'll get it all submitted." Signed by guess who? Not David Weiss. And we noted this when we first went through this. These 2 lawyers signed off on it. Leo Weiss and Derek Hines. We have questions about these people. Are they also conflicted like the rest of the DOJ and the FBI appears to be at times? The answer might be yes. Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss officially filed charges against the president's son, but Derek Hines signed off on the charging document alongside his boss and 2 other U.S. attorneys. According to Hines's LinkedIn account, he previously worked as special counsel to ex-FBI director Louis Freeh at his private company, the Free Group International Solutions. Oh, so it didn't work for him when they were at the FBI, but he was a U.S. attorney, or maybe in private practice, working over there. A lobbying and risk management consultancy team that teamed up with Hunter on overseas business currently under scrutiny. Interesting. Very curious. So he originally worked for this guy. Now this guy's got very close connections to the Biden crime family. Frey worked with Hunter on a $3 million job, consulting in the Romanian criminal for a Romanian criminal, a deal that allegedly is now part of a federal criminal investigation. Ron Johnson told the Daily Mail about this. He said there's a link between the prosecutor and Hunter's business associate. He says it calls into question the entire investigation. Says here, Daily Mail previously reported that Frey and his firm worked closely with Hunter to get the State Department to limit the prosecution, a story we've talked a lot about here. Now, there's also this email, which is very problematic. Frey sent $100,000 to a private trust for Joe's grandchildren. Remember this email? Strange email. Why would the former FBI director, who now works as a private intelligence contractor, send in a nice big fat dono? Here's what that said. Robert Hunter Biden wrote this email. He says, "Thank you, Judge. Looks like we may have caught a break with the publication of the ruling, the motivation in Gab's words, on the abuse of office and power." This is from Robert Hunter Biden. You can see his initials down here. According to G, it clearly states that cases fitting the exact description of this would no longer be valid prosecutions as a matter of law. Don't really know what they're talking about. Please keep me informed and give Gab my best. So honored that you agreed to take this on. Thanks again, Hunter. So Hunter is using this guy almost as a consultant, as a lobbyist, and it's about the subject of this email, July 8th, 2016, attorney-client communications and work product, confidential and privileged. So they're trying to keep this all secret. And Louis responds, "Thank you, Hunter, and I would be delighted to do future work with you. I also spoke to Dad a few weeks ago and would like to explore with him some future work options." Is that Daddy Joe? "I believe that working together on these and other legal matters would be of value fun, and rewarding. Joe's about to leave office, right? He's not running again. Trump's about to come in. So he says, let's keep this business up. The decision, which I will read over the weekend in translation, is very timely indeed. I see G tomorrow and will convey your regards. Have a great weekend and our love to mom and dad. Warm regards, Louis. And there's another email from him that is about the donations. Here's evidence about that transaction. Another email came out. Dear Hunter, hope you're doing well. I saw Dad in St. Joe's today at the 9 a.m. today. He said hi walking back from communion. I didn't get a chance to return greetings. So apparently he saw him at church. If you have a cell phone and personal email, I'd like to have his contacts. I'll protect it. I'd like to persuade him to associate with me and FSS. We have some very good and profitable matters and could enhance that with minimal time. Also, Gabriel's court hearing is scheduled in Bucharest, and it's possible he will get a judgment. Please stop by anytime, say hi. I'm in DC regularly. Now, something else happened. This is about Hallie's trust. A Hunter Biden email from Hunter Biden to Louis Freeh. Louis said, hey, dear Hunter, good afternoon from Europe. Hope the family had a great Easter. I had a great meeting in Bucharest with the director. Hopefully it's going to have a positive impact on the case. They're trying to leverage prosecutors to get this guy off the hook for whatever reason. As you know, Louis says, our family foundation made a $100,000 contribution to Hallie's trust last year. $100,000. Wow. Just because? My accountants now advise me that since the grant did not go to a 501c organization, it wasn't a proper gift. So we've been in touch with the IRS. We want to correct the situation. I'm going to make a new gift of $100,000 to her trust. Then your trust is going to reimburse the foundation by paying it back. I can handle this with the lawyers. Don't worry about it. I wanted to let you know for this. Please call me if you have any questions. I'll proceed to contact the lawyers. The IRS has given us a deadline. Sorry for the burden. Best regards to Hallie, Dad, and Mom. Ex-FBI. Just making sure his taxes are good in his illegal payment for whatever that was, right? It actually wasn't illegal, right? He was doing it legally. We don't know what that was for. Certainly looks like a nice little gift, or some might say a bribe, to incentivize some communication. So you see, very curious relationship here. And if David Hines is, an asset, so to speak, of Louis Freeh, with whom he used to work for him at his office, and Louis is given nice donos of $100,000 to Hunter, we have a little bit of a curious relationship here that some people say might be conflicted. Did he disclose that to anybody? No, I'm sure he didn't. We have reaction from Ron Johnson. Here's what he said in piecing this all together. And this came over from our friends at justthenews.com. This is Senator Ron Johnson speaking from Wisconsin.
How do we begin to fix it?
Well, you have to first expose it. One thing I don't think we're paying enough attention to is an awful lot of this obstruction occurred under the Trump administration. And trust me, President Trump wanted this information out. I'm sure he would have liked to have seen an honest investigation and prosecution of Hunter Biden. But that just shows you how pervasive and extensive the deep state is. The radical left partisans have infiltrated every institution of this country, including our federal government agencies. And this is just further evidence of that. But as John Durham testified before the House, this dual system of justice cannot continue. This is the true danger to our democracy. When the American public loses all faith in federal law enforcement, in the Department of Justice, in our intelligence agencies, that is very troubling for this country.
Senator, these whistleblowers have come forward because they identified corruption and wrongdoing. They were not recruited by Republicans in Congress or solicited. They willingly came forward. And I know in past interviews you have mentioned the need for more whistleblowers. I mean, I don't know how many we're up to by now.
Shout out to the whistleblowers.
Uncovered and revealed so much. Why is it that you need more?
Well, the people at the top are the wrongdoers here. I mean, they're the ones that have access to all the information. They know what they did. People below them only have bits and pieces. So, any investigation is like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. And it's just piece by piece, you're putting it together and you get a little feel, okay, well, I think I see what's happening over here. And you can get a little feel of this. But you need the whole picture. So you need more and more people to bring their piece of the puzzle to the table, their bits of information, so we can really assemble the full picture and then hold these people accountable. You need documents, you need emails, you need evidence before you call people even in for interviews, much less public hearings. They need to understand that you may know something they don't think you know, and they've got to be off guard so they actually tell you the truth under oath.
All right, so that is Ron Johnson explaining that this all starts at the top. More whistleblowers would be great to hear from. These whistleblowers are amazing and heroic and spreading truth in a much needed time. And so we'll continue to cover this, but we're learning more about the prosecutors, learning more about the integrity of this investigation into Hunter, which really looks like none, as you could expect, from the Biden administration and their DOJ.